Hey, everybody, welcome into the Fighting's Final. I'm Big Al, and the Phillies fall today 6-2 to the Baltimore Orioles. The series is knotted up 1-1 with the rubber match coming tomorrow on Father's Day. It's been a beautiful weekend, beautiful time. You bring that TV outside if you can't be down at Camden Yards, and enjoy the game outside. Happy early Father's Day to all you dads out there from all of us at Edge of Philly Sports. But we got a lot to cover tonight. We're going to talk about still kind of cold offense, get a little spurts of offense, and that's about it. Some trouble with the bullpens this evening, and Matty B. I'm going to be talking about him a little bit for those who chimed in last night and set the record straight with Howard Eskin Jr., as I like to call him. We'll get into all that momentarily, but guys, I want to remind you this is brought to you by DolansBar.com, Sherry'sTickets.com, CherryInjuryLaw.com, and PhillySportsTrips.com. Speaking, if you look in the crowd here, you might be able to see some of the guys down there. A big look for the red spots. So sold out game today, only the second or third sold out game tonight for the Orioles. So of course Philly brings it every time, and Philly Sports Trips is the one who leads that pack. Let's hit some of these comments because I'm sure everybody is irate or annoyed or very not happy with what they've seen today. Elephant in the room starts it off with outfield offensively is straight trash. Rojas couldn't hit Woodruff if he fell out of a boat. Marsh is super overrated for a mediocre corner outfielder bat that might be acceptable in center, but in a corner spot he's not good enough. Manager batting Castellanos second should cost him his job. I'm gonna cost him his job, but I can see where I'm not too happy with him in the 2 spot either. With Trey back tomorrow, I don't want to be in the position to say F Aaron Nola. That's all. Yeah, well, it's not him. It's Zach Wheeler, so Aaron Nola's not going to be talking about it at all. Just an absolute poop performance offensively. You get a good game from Walker, and that's what you do offensively, huh? Just embarrassing. Yeah, I mean, he had a decent game up into the end, got shaky, but that offense is the key to the game tonight. I mean, we had a little problems with Ruiz and the bullpen as well, but offensively, yeah, they gave him no run support, especially against you're technically your 5th guy, even though he's not paid that way. Phils weren't winning, but Lance Diaz is effing awful to the last pitch. On that last pitch, be careful, Steve. The mighty Matty B, the Superman to all umps out there, might get upset. That was a revenge punch out on ball 6 inches out of the zone. He is next for forced retirement. O's have the best pitching in the American League. They don't need any help, and that Joker did it all day. Phillies helped too young. Phillies helped too young to. Phillies helped too young. Got 2 men on base, and Rojas up, and he swings an awful pitch way up, and it looks straight upward to swing at a dude has no discipline. I'll try to break that down. As of late, none of these guys do they just swing at junk like they are Vladimir Guerrero Sr. or something. They just aren't leaving the balls for the birds. 11 pitches with a whip of under 1.1 is ridiculous. Cassie can't be swinging at the first pitch in 3 straight at bats in the 2-hole. Just can't happen. That's not thinking. I agree with that wholeheartedly. We used to work pitchers early in the season. Now we're just young pitchers entering the 6th, and the only 70-some pitches, not acceptable. Yeah, that's one of my comments here on my sheet here. What's up, Al? Not a good performance by anybody. Nah, not a good game at all. I'm sure the Excuse Emporium will be open tonight, which we'll talk about that shortly. I'm done with Castellanos. He has to go. First 2 times at bat out on the first pitch. Walker pitched a decent game. Yes. Didn't expect to win today at all with our lineup today against good pitching, but the approach sucked today. Yeah. That's what we were breaking the approach. Matty B reminds me of Howard Eskin, as I call him Howard Eskin Jr. Umpire bad again tomorrow. Umpire bad again, nothing new. Santander with 5 RBIs in our 2 games. Maybe the Phillies should be considered walking him tomorrow. Yeah, that's a good thought there. I was ready to lose I was ready to lose this game because of Walker, but the way it went down was embarrassing. Absolutely dives and go after the rubber match tomorrow. Yeah, we got to see how they bounce back tomorrow. Hopefully, we all have a really good Father's Day with a Wheeler gem and maybe some offense to support him. But tonight, the game ended 6-2, moving the Phillies to 47-23, still top in the NL East, and the Orioles are now 46-24, second in the AL East. So let's go to some of these box scores, but real quick before we do, guys, if you want to get down to your game, get down to any game. I don't care if you're down in Baltimore right now and you're like, I want to go down to the game. Go to sherrystickets.com. Sports, concerts, theaters, you name it, they got it. sherrystickets.com. Family owned and operated since 1946. sherrystickets.com. Great prices, no hidden fees. Forget the other guys. They're gonna bamboozle you at checkout. You're gonna spend a lot of money on fees and whatever else have you. And have to probably buy another ticket or two wherever event you're going to. Go to sherrystickets.com. Forget the fees. Already great prices and save an additional 10% off using that great promo code EOP10. That's right, EOP10 will save you 10% off at sherrystickets.com. So let's see. Andrew's saying Cassie is worthless. You can't play this man every day. Maybe they can sit Castellanos tomorrow and play Witt. What could it hurt? Not against it, to be honest with you. If Nola's worth the contract, he shows up tomorrow and shuts down an offense that has a 308 OBP. Yeah. But it's not Nola tomorrow. It's Wheeler. Keep saying it, Steve. Tomorrow's Wheeler. Yeah. Wheeler is tomorrow. Thank you. So let's talk. I want to jump into pitching first. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the Phils. Walker went 5 2/3, 6 hits, 3 runs, all earned, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts, and a home run, and boasting a 5.33 ERA. Beginning, he was pretty good through 4 innings. He was decent. He got himself a little trouble, but he got himself out of it. Kept it to 2, to the 2, up until that fifth into the 6th inning, I should say 6th inning, where he let up the home run, and then I believe Soto came in and kept this game, got him out of the 6th. It's just I don't know how to put this. I do know how to put it. Walker's not he's not pitching bad. He's not pitching like he's paid, that's for sure. Kind of another Tobias Harris in Philadelphia. I think Walker's gonna be the new Tobias Harris. But when Taijuan Walker's on the mound, the run support is going to be even more important. These Phillies did not have any run support. That was the key factor. Again, stringing hits together, a total of 7, I believe, altogether. But they did not have enough strung together, close together, I guess is a good way of putting it. They were just sporadic. A big home run from Amundo Sosa. But that was it. It was as few and far in between. This offense needs to click a little better, especially from guys like Nick Castellanos. And I guess because Nick's sucking so bad, we're not mentioning Bryce Harper, which, all right, I know was something that was brought up last night, and Excuse Emporium open for business right now. But I'm not making excuses for Bryce Harper. Bryce Harper's not playing well. He's not playing well. To sit there and discuss about his contract over baseball, which we all know you have your ups and downs. At this moment, right now, he has not been playing well. No, he has not been playing well for the most of June. He had a good May. He had a little bit of rocky start in April. But no, Bryce Harper is not being clutch at this moment, and he's not doing what we said. He's not doing what we expect from him. That's the big thing. Castellanos, I don't know if we're just used to him by now. I wouldn't be shocked if Trey Turner played tomorrow, especially. I wouldn't mind sitting Nick Castellanos, but I agree with him I don't see the point of putting him in the 2-hole. I really don't get the idea behind that. I would have rather seen Amundo Sosa put in the 2-hole. I would rather seen Bryson Stott, even though he's been struggling a little bit as well, in the 2-hole. I did not want to see Nick Castellanos anywhere near the 2-hole. 5-hole at best, but I would have rather seen 6, 7, or I guess with this lineup, it's probably 6 or 7. But I don't get it. The guy, he has When he's off, it's what I think what makes Nick Castellanos so frustrating is that when he's off, it's so wild, it's so noticeable. I guess like he's just swinging like I said, he's swinging at the first pitch. He's swinging at anything that's thrown at him. He's not. There's no plate discipline, and that's when he's bad. When he has no plate discipline, and somebody said it earlier. I'll have to go through the messages here. That this team was known for their plate discipline early on the season when they started off real high, and I feel like they've gotten away from that. They're just expecting the hits to come, and some guys are still swinging for the fences, and Bryce Harper is one of them. Nick Castellanos is definitely one of them. And it just goes to show. But Taijuan Walker had a decent game. 3 runs in 5 2/3 inning is decent. It's not great. It's not terrible. This offense should produce. They were 0 for 5 with runners in scoring position. That's a big problem. Greg Soto came in 1 inning, let up just a walk, but got 2 strikeouts. Ruiz, he had. I don't want to say he was due, but yeah, I guess he had a bad inning. He's been really good for the most part, and they kind of announced or jinxed him how good he's been, how much of a find he's been, and he comes up in 1 1/3 inning, 5 hits, 3 run, all earned, 1 strikeout, and the homer that we saw later in the game that gave them that the lead that they needed. That little extra cushion. Even though I don't even know if they needed it, I think 3-2 would have won this game either way. Just the way these bats were, the way the batters were flaring around up at the plate. I don't think they really needed them, but they were there for him. And then watching Kimbrel come for the quote unquote close, or save, even though it turned out not to be a save situation, puts a little extra sting on it. Let's hit a couple more of these things. Adam saying, who would you rather see, Stubbs or Marchand catching? I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, to me, it's like Stubbs has been catching more often, so he has a little bit better rapport with the guys. But I don't know who's more of a liability at the plate. Stubbs did have like a little bloop hit today, but Marchand also did well last night. So I don't. That's a good question, Adam. I don't know who's the lesser of two evils at this point. Alexa said Wheeler, so I'm going with Alexa. Well, Al said Wheeler before Alexa, so there you go. I want to be mad at Rob for keeping Ruiz too long, but what other options do they have? Hate how he manages the lineup. He actually feel bad for the guy who doesn't have the proper personnel. I don't know if he doesn't have the proper personnel. Listen, we have a lot of injuries we're dealing with, so not everybody's there, but the lineup is somewhat questionable at the time. But you also have to understand you got guys who pitched a lot of innings last night. There's a little lull in between. And then on top of it all, they have another game tomorrow. And then back in Monday, there's no time off. They had some time off recently. Now they have no time off for a little while. So, you got to kind of manage the bullpen that way as well. Andrew saying Harper isn't pulling his weight. Don't give this man an extension. I don't even think we have to worry about it. I don't get that whole extension thing. I mean, it's not like he's coming up on his like last 2 years or something. Stott hasn't hit well all the season. What's up with him? Jeffy had a run in May for the most of May, like 3 weeks of May, where he was doing really well, batting over 500 at one point during that stint. But yeah, he has definitely cooled off. I think he just broke a 0 for 20 plus with his hit today. You think Harper's playing hurt? I mean, I don't know. He doesn't seem to be. There's been no news of that, so I don't think so. I mean, as far as I know, I don't think so. Ruiz took one for the team today. I'm okay with that move. Yeah, I took one for the team. He's been really good, and he's like kind of a diamond in the rough, kind of like Jeff Hoffman was for us last year. You didn't expect much of anything. Spencer Turnbull, you didn't know what to expect from him, and he's been really solid. He just had a bad outing. We'll get into a little bit more of that when we talk when I break down Matty B's tirade from yesterday. I would trade Nick at the deadline. Who you going to trade to is the question. Cassie never gets a day off. He must have pictures of someone. I don't know. He keeps telling them days off ain't going to work, and they believe that, and they're not listening to him. I don't agree with it. Yeah, I don't think so either, Elephant in the room. I don't know who's going to trade for him. Offense has to be better. than what it is. Uh, Jordan, understatement of the year right there. Yes, right now it has to be better. Stubbs and Rojas at the bottom of the order isn't a good combo. Where do you put them? I mean, you'll put Stubbs, at the 3 or the 2 spot, 5 spot. You're going to put them bottom of the order. Ross Dog hard to beat the O's twice in a row. It is. They're a really good team, and not taken away from it. It was very competitive up until that inning where Ruiz came in and, the 7th inning, it just didn't pan out well. Just unfortunately. It's an unfortunate turn of events at that way. Stott should be second, not automatic out Casty. I mean, listen, like I said, Stott hasn't had a great run as of lately, but it's like lesser of two evils. At least Stott puts up more, takes more pitches, makes pitchers work harder, and can work out walks better than Castellanos. So I would agree with you, Ross. I would have put Stott in that 2 hole. Need a couple more arms in the pen, in my opinion. Says elephant in the room. Marchand to start. Stubbs when you need some. Um, on the base. Oh, well, we'll talk about Stubbs on the base path in a little bit. He got lucky today. Marchand had a good plate discipline, which this lineup has lacked at times. Agree with that statement as well. Again, this team hasn't had the home. Hasn't has wait a minute, hasn't hit as a whole for a month now, and explain why Cassie's batting second. Still trying to figure that out, Mike. Cassie reminds me of Burrell 209 year. Oh, yeah. Guy, same thing. No plate discipline, swings at everything that comes within 20 feet of him. I think Harper's slump there's no one they can put behind him to protect. Well, no, that's not true. Alec Boehm has been playing well. He was the hero of the game last night, and he played very well tonight, Mike. So I don't know. I disagree with that one. I think Harper's slump is Harper's slump. That's what it is. But it's baseball, and there's slumps. I mean, again, we're not gonna, if you listen to Matty B last night, we're gonna need pitchforks and torches and just storm the castle and burn them at the stake because these guys aren't humans. He'll defend umpires until they're blue in the face, even if it's blatant that they're not having a great game. And let me explain to you what a floating strike zone is. Is when an ump calls things a strike at certain times and it's not a strike at other times. That is an inconsistent strike zone, or as we refer to it as a floating strike zone, meaning it's a strike at one point and it floats the other way and it's not a strike. So you don't know. That's what a floating strike zone is. It is my term I use for an inconsistent strike zone. So there you go, Matty B. There's your definition. Like it or not, umps make mistakes too. Just like you would rag on Castellanos right now, just like you ragged on Bryce Harper, they're humans too, and they're going to make mistakes. So that's it. Simple as that. You can't defend them all the time. I know you're an ump. I know it's not easy. And stop with this. I'll send any one of you guys to ump school or whatever it's called, OVR, read the OVR, all that stuff. That's a cop-out. That is a cop-out comment in my eyes. Yes, nobody's sitting here saying it's an easy job. But when somebody's being bad blatantly at their job, you're going to point it out. Just like if a player's have 0 for 4, 0 for 5, not errors in the field and things like that. Trey Turner, we remember last year crucifying him. But we can't have umps having bad days. That never happens. So I'm pushing back on Matty B. Love him to death. He's a great friend. He's one of my best friends, and I'm going to say that right now. But you gotta call it both ways. It's not an excuse emporium. Okay? Sometimes there is just facts out there that add up that can cause a team to go through a funk. Okay? That needs a team to get recalibrated. Okay? Sorry I use the term recalibrated. They're off track. Whatever it is you want to do, in a funk, in a slump. Whatever term you want to use in that case. They are not doing well. And some of it, I'm not saying all the reasons come from what he talked about last night. We'll break that down in a little bit. But it doesn't help. And it can cause problems. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. Marchand to start. Oh, no, sorry. I got that one. Rojas strikes out too much for the type of hitter he is. Lance Diaz was bad today. Yeah, he was. I mean, I wouldn't say he was bad the whole day. He got a little wonky more towards the end Steve. I would say for like the first 3 to 4 innings, definitely was fine. I didn't see anything too crazy with him and that, but there was definitely some questionable pitches at one point. Marsh didn't look like Marsh of the AAA. Listen, he just came back in the lineup. I mean, it was he needs to get it's a routine, and that's what we're going to talk about. This baseball's a game of routine. These guys getting routines, and that's what I talked about. Matty B took it all out of proportion and made it feel like I was making excuses. It's not being a homer. It's being we're analysts. We're analyzing the game. What could cause a team that's been really hot to get this cold? Those are all valid reasons. I'm not saying it's 100% the reasons, but they're all valid reasons. Um, Trouble is Diaz never thinks he makes a mistake and makes a spectacle of himself. Yeah, sometimes some of the refs and stuff, they go a little too into the call sometimes. Does Phil Stifle agree with me? I don't know. TMZ, there's more in the world than Phil Stifle. I know you have this huge man crush on him, and I love you to death, buddy. But you know, I don't know if he agrees with me. He's not here. I haven't talked to him today. But I don't know. And what does he agree with me about? There's different options. There's different reasons. There's different things I've said so far in the 22 minutes we've been doing this. I've said quite a few things. So I don't know, TMZ. We'll find out. Laz is bad as CB Buckner. Matty B might be an undercover hater for Philly. Never question Matty B. Now we'll question Matty B. Just got back from injury. Yeah, he wasn't great before the injury either. No, he came out. He was hitting pretty well in the beginning of the season. Then he kind of averaged off. Like he averaged off for a guy who was hitting kind of in that 6-7 zone, which where he was normally. I mean, when you go back to this team being healthy, if Trey Turner came back, I don't expect him to come back hitting 300 right away either. Am I the only one who knows that baseball players are human beings sometimes? Like, I don't get it. Like, that's my thing. Sorry, Phil always got the answer to what? Phil's got his answer. Phil's got a answer. The answer, not to what. Sorry, Phil always got the answer. I don't know what that means. Got the answer that you want to hear? The answer to what? I mean, there's no answer to this right now. The answer is this team isn't is playing against a very good team. Let's be honest. So they're playing against a really good defensive team, good pitching, good hitting, all up and down. Orioles are one of the top teams in the MLB. So yeah, this team is, and when they make mistakes, they will be magnified because you can get away with mistakes against not as good teams, and you can make up for them. But it's hard to bash your way out of a game, and a 2-3 game, a 3-2 game. It's really difficult when you have a pitching staff like the O's have and a hitting staff like the O's have. So I, don't want it to seem like I think Marsh is a bad player because he's definitely not. He's a great teammate, and I love as a Philly just need more from the corner spot. Listen, just need more from anybody. I mean, what does it matter? Say it was Rojas, in the corner, and he's in center field. Does it make it better? I mean, you would hope 1 through 8 you get really good hitting, and keep it above the average for the 9-hole, which is I think like 220, 225 in the MLB. So it's really hard to say. Like, I mean, guys, Matty B said it yesterday. I was talking about it. I've said it all the time. This is a game of 30%. When you do 30%, you had a great year. You had a really good year. If everybody's hitting over 300, everybody's so happy. Maybe because they call it 300, we forget that means 30%. So there's going to be times, even if this team wins 100 games, there's going to be 62 losses. That's going to happen. So that's okay. But it's how they bounce back. It's how they respond to this. Can they come back tomorrow? Can they get the bats coming? Get the bats going? And we'll get into, my theories of why these bats have been not as hot lately. This is why I said 3 months ago, we need a good right-handed hitting outfielder. So you're telling me today we had one outfielder who was a good right-handed hitting outfielder, that this game would have been different. They would have won this game. Because I think remember, guys, we're breaking down today's game. We're talking about today's loss. We're talking about that. And yes, we're going to talk a little bit about leading up to it. They have had up and down. They lost a series to Boston. They're now 1-1 with the Orioles. Hopefully they can win this series and bring it home against the Padres on Monday. But, We're not like one piece away from here. There's guys struggling. If some of these guys were just playing like we think that we know they can, Castellanos, Harper, for instance, if those two plus Schwarber hitting as well as he's been for the most part lately, then and Bohm's been hitting well, your top 4 guys are hitting, okay? That means Stott and the rest of them will just start clicking as well. Like, that's my thing is it's not one guy. Like, it's not like some one guy's been really bad this entire time that he's been holding us back. Like, Rojas is still learning. He's had up and downs at bat. He's had some RBIs as well. Like, his stats are out there to prove it. But if there was an option for a better center fielder where you can get close to the same as not the same defense, but more offensive production, and you need to send him down for another year, and this person would be the better option, I'd be okay with that. I'd be okay with that. Ugh loss. Yes, Marshawn. Ugh loss. Yeah. But guys, I remind you that this portion of the Fightins Final is brought to you by PhillySportsTrips.com. That's right, PhillySportsTrips.com. They're there right now. They're probably getting their buses starting to head back to Philly now. They have a lot of these. I tell you guys all the time, they have some of the greatest events. I've been to them. I'm actually gonna be going out to this one in Pittsburgh. They have some of the greatest events, great food, great drinks, great people, great times, transportation, all at a very reasonable price. PhillySportsTrips.com is a place to go. But if you wait too long, you're going to miss out. You missed out on Chicago. You're missing out on you missed out on Boston. That sold out real quick. You missed out on today's trip. Sold out real quick. Don't wait. Go to PhillySportsTrips.com. Sign up. They have trips to Miami for the Union. They have some home games here for Italian Heritage Night. They got it all, man. They got all the Eagles away games. So go to PhillySportsTrips.com. Check it out. Tell them EOP sent you. One more comment here. Hey, Al, what word on Turner return yet? So, according today, he was running around the bases, sprinting, doing some workouts. Things look good. They're supposed to make a decision tonight. I don't know if that means if they make a decision tonight, he's in the lineup tomorrow, or for when he gets back. We get back to Philadelphia is when he gets cooking, Dave. So that's kind of your update. Probably in the minority on this one, but do you think his defense makes up for him striking out too much and pounding the ball into the ground so hard? Well, it's again, that question's answered. If the other 8 guys in front of him are hitting well, are consistently hitting, you don't care about Johan Rojas' offense as much. It's not as bad. It looks bad. It's amplified when the other guys right now around him aren't hitting very well. It's just that's true facts. If the 1 through 8 guys are doing really well, you're not worried about your 9-hole hitter. Back in the day, we didn't have a we didn't have a designated hitter. I mean, we've only had a designated hitter for a few years, guys, in 4 years, guys that we forget. We had a guy who was almost an automatic out all the time. But yes, his defense is stellar. But there is, if there is an option where we could get another offensive piece that can do almost as good as him, I think you take the chance because you're all in this year. This is a big year to push it forward and get ahead of it. That's why I'm not panicking. I mean, when Matty B gets all on the irate, I'm just not panicking right now. I'm the one who had to sit there and say in 2022 when they were coming out to that bad start not to panic. In 2023, they came out to a bad start not to panic. Now they came out to a good start and we're still panicking. Like, that's my thing. Put in perspective, me haven't been swept. Haven't been swept. Just peaks and valleys for the season so far. Yeah, I mean, you're only losing 2 games at a time, in a row. So those are victories that you have to look at. You shouldn't think they should start David Dahl more. He's doing pretty good since he's being up here. I would like to see him in right field today. Give the man a day off at this point. I mean, just give him a day off. Charles, what's going on? Great evening, everybody, on the live stream. What's going on? Nice to see you, Charles. I'll smash that like button on your way into the live stream broadcast. Please do, guys. Listen, that's what helps EOP grow. It helps us bring more of this content to you. So you can watch me and Matty B go back and forth. I guess that's what everybody looks forward to, right? Real quick, let's go through the lineup. Kyle Schwarber was 0 for 4 today with a strikeout. Not a great day for him. Castellanos was 0 for 4, as we mentioned before, with 2 strikeouts. Bryce Harper was 1 for 4, scored the first run of the game with 2 strikeouts. Alec Bohm was 2 for 4 with a ribby today. Bryson Stott was 1 for 3 with a walk. Mundo Sosa was 1 for 3, scoring the run with the RBI. and 2 strikeouts. He had that big home run that made it 2-0 at one point. And let's see, Brandon Marshall was 0 for 3 with a walk today, and a strikeout. Stubbs was 1 for 4 with 2 strikeouts, and Rojas was 1 for 3 today. So yeah, I mean, like I said, it was way too spread out. They just timely hitting. I mean, 7 hits is not what you want to see from this team. You shouldn't see. I mean, but it is a good pitching staff that we're going on. I mean, one of the top pitching in the MLB right now. One of the top. What game are you going to? I mean, going to in Pittsburgh? I haven't decided that one yet. I might go to a couple of them. I might go for the series. Might get my press credentials while I'm out there and cover the whole series from out there. I haven't decided yet. Speaking of, I will be back in the press box on Monday. This Monday coming up, guys. So for the San Diego opening game, so Monday evening, check me out on Twitter at Big L EOP as well as EOPsports.com. I'll have all up to date stuff for you while I'm in there. This is powerful indeed. Thank you. The Phillies just need to need home crowd back to get going. Well, Adam, we'll talk about that in a minute because that's kind of what I was getting. My excuse emporium was stock shelves with was one of this home cooking conversation. Definitely a decent plan to platoon Dahl and Casty and Wright. Yeah, I don't know about platooning, but at least give him a little time off while you still have Dahl up here because somebody's going to have to go back down. And I don't know who's going to be if Trey Turner comes back. You're going to send who are you going to send back down? Do you send Rojas down for a little bit? You can't send Pache. You're going to have to DFA him if that's what you want to do. So there's questions that have to be answered. I don't want to see the farm system emptied for Lou Bob. That's for sure. Yeah, I mean, listen, I agree. I don't want to see this team. I don't think this team needs to be emptied, but if you really want to get a really stellar piece, a big bat or a premier closer or something along those lines, it's gonna cost us, and they know that. They know we're in a World Series push. So anybody who gives us who does any trades with us, they're gonna make us pay for it. And then you're gonna have the Yankees in on it. You're gonna have the O's who are playing right now in on it. You're gonna have the Brewers in on it. You're gonna have a lot of teams in on it. So they need some. Oh, sorry, reread that one. So like I said, guys, that's your breakdown of the box scores tonight. Just not timely enough hitting. Castellanos falling down back to a 208. Schwarber's at 248. Harper's at 276. Boom, 295. 239 for Stott. Sosa's down to 280. Marsh is 261. Stubbs is at 188. And Rojas is at 235, which is above the average for the 9-hole hitter. So, I mean, again, people ride Rojas for whatever reason. I mean, you forget how young he is. It's not an excuse. You forget how young he is. No, he's not ready. Wade Pache, love the guy enough to want him to get either at bats in the minors or get him somewhere where he can. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's good for him if he can. It would be nice if they were able to maybe trade him or maybe a cash consideration type situation to somebody before they make that decision. But I guess why would you trade him for anything if you know there's a chance that he's not going to be, that they're going to have to make a decision on him. But guys, let's go to the let's take a trip. Let's jump on the subway here and hit the old Broad Street bottom line. Guys, Broad Street Bottom Line is brought to you by David R. Cherry, cherryinjurylaw.com. Dave Cherry's a man with a plan for all your workers' comp, motor vehicle, personal injury, and criminal law needs. If you get hurt at work, hurt in a car accident, personal injury, criminal law, these are all life-altering moments. You need a man with a plan. You need a guy who won't strike out, keeps his batting average up really high. He won't just give you a mere 300, David R. Cherry is the man with a plan, 610-565-0300, or go to cherryinjurylaw.com, find out about his past cases and all the great work he's done, or just learn about Dave Cherry and in total, cherryinjurylaw.com, or simply call him at 610-565-0300. My Broad Street bottom line continues to be, let's just calm down a little bit. We're the room isn't burnt to the ground. We're not sitting at the bottom somewhere in the basement and barely even thinking about making the playoffs. You played a really good team today. Your offense was stagnant today. Offense has been stagnant. It was stagnant in Boston for the most part. Um, it was decent the first game of the London series. Shaky in the second game. Last night was even like last night. I mean, it was a fun game to watch, but at the same time, you know, they had to go in 11 innings to get this done. This is playoff baseball. This is what's going to happen. You just got to hope that guys, can start becoming more clutch in these moments. I know they're not there yet, but it's okay. This is where I would rather not have them clutch. So, and maybe they'll be clutch when the time comes. Time will come, but I mean, we got guys like Matty B. I want to crucify guys. Like I don't get this. Like we can, like I said, we can defend umps till we're blue in the face, but they can never make. They're infallible, like the Pope. They're infallible, but these players who play every day, round bat, round ball. I say it all the time. It's not an easy game. I have a better chance of becoming an MLB ump, Matty B, than I have an MLB player. Okay, so like that's my point. Is like don't tell me or anybody else that I would like anybody to say. It's easy to say that. It's easy to say that. No, it's not easy. Nobody is sitting here saying this is easy. But when somebody's blatantly doing bad at their job one night, they're going to tell you. They're going to point this out. I know you're a little part and partial because you're an ump yourself. I get it. I'm not making fun of them. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying that we should get rid of them and put robots in there like some people say. But what I'm saying is when somebody's having a bad game, I'm going to call them out. I don't care if it's the ump or a player or a coach's decisions. I'm going to call them out. That's what it is. That's what's going on. On the other thing, it's not excuses. Let's break down what Matty B was calling my excuses. Okay? Let's look at this. I said, and I quote, that this has been a very long road trip. They had some time off. They had guys who haven't pitched in over a week at times, guys who, taking trips and time changes. And then the powers that be that made this schedule said not only do you have some time before and some time after off, then you're going to be in Boston, then you're going to be in Baltimore. It's going to be, these guys haven't been home in a while. Like it was a week they haven't been home since last Wednesday. So yeah, you're not in your own bed. You're a creature of habit. You're kind of it just amplifies if you're struggling at the plate. Those things amplify it. They're not the only reasons, Matty B. They're not the only reasons this team's struggling, but they don't help. And don't tell me if they came home and they had the crowd behind them, you can't see his bats getting hot again, and that just like the standing ovation for Trey Turner back in August of last year. I mean, these things play a factor. They are human beings. Just like you defend the umps, the players are human beings. So when they're out of sorts, when they're out of their normal routine, that's the thing that happens. So it's okay. And baseball is a big like sports in general, guys are getting routines, but baseball is one of the bigger ones. So don't sit here and tell me that I'm crazy, that I'm making excuses. You can say it all you want, but it's not true. I'm saying this doesn't help. There is a lot of reasons why people have not maybe played well. It just doesn't help the situation. This team has to play better. 100% agree. The offense has to wake up. We were spoiled by them averaging over 5.5 runs a game. And now it's not looking like that. Going a little over 500 against good teams is not a reason to cry for sure. Truth be told, you need to take care of biz against lesser teams during the season. The better ones in October. 100%. Well said, Steve. 100%. Steve saying, Alan Matty off air. What kind of ping pong can we play to stoke the EOP fan base? No. I mean, it's real between me and Matty. I'll be honest with you. Like, he has hills he dies on. I'm not the giant negative Nancy that he can be at times. He likes to call himself a realist. I like to call him that he's unrealistic at times. That's for sure. Where, he wears one hat for one group of people, umpires, and a different hat for other the players. Yes, these guys are warriors. Yes, they should be able to play in any situation, but that's not true. That doesn't happen. Even warriors back in Roman times, they yearn for home. They yearn for some sort of normality, some sort of comfort. So yes, you can get out of funk, and it can help you it can make you get deeper into funks. during those time frames. Okay. So it's not crazy. It's not crazy to think at all. So, the excuse emporium, call it what you want it. It's just analytical breakdown of some of the things that could be playing some small factors in the situation that the Phillies are struggling in certain areas. Is Matty B a college umpire? I think he does a lot of different, Mike, he does a lot of different levels. I'm not sure about college. I think he's done some college. Don't quote me on that. But he's for many years. He's a military guy, so he's very stringent with things. Um, so yeah, I mean, that's how he thinks. And listen, I'm sure he's had people in his face yelling and screaming at things that, yes, they are the judge, jury, and executioner at times. He forgets that. But even a judge is wrong. People get, accused of things that they didn't do. And when you're offensively struggling, it's going to be amplified. But I'm not exactly sure if he's done college, but I'm pretty sure he's done it. But he's done many, many levels for many, many years, and he's a very good ump. I mean, very fair ump, and he gives people chances. And I've seen him. I've seen videos of him. So that's true. I'll give him that. But he gets upset when the umps are involved. He gets a little too touchy about the umps. So my friend just umped for his first D1 game. Rafael Furkel was the first base coach. They're all about defending each other. Matty ain't alone on this one. No. Part of the tri-state elite umps. Yeah, no. I mean, listen, it's like a brotherhood. I get that, and I don't blame him. I think he should defend them. But it's also okay at time to say umps had a bad day or bad inning or a couple bad innings or whatever. It's okay because they aren't infallible. They are human beings. They are going to make mistakes. And there's times they're going to make mistakes that are going to cost games. We all know that. Hopefully it's minimized. But, we've seen it. And I'm not saying it's easy. God, I umped a handful of games many, 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 many years ago, filling in for somebody in a very local uh, league for young kids. I hated it. I was getting razzed. I never had any training in it, so I made some mistakes. I just, it's not easy. And I'm not going to sit here and say it's easy, but that's not what we're here to talk about. This team is struggling. This team, I really think if they can survive tomorrow, win this series, this would be borderline 500 successful road trip. I can't really call it successful when you lose the series to Boston. You split in England, which okay, with that kind of travel and all the fanfare around and all the stuff that they were doing in just a few days. I think that plays a factor into it a little bit. So I'm okay with splitting that. Wasn't okay with losing to Boston like they did, especially when they were down up 4-0 in the one game. So that's why I'm saying I can't say it's successful, but I mean, it's definitely not. We're drowning at this point. Like that's how I look at it. We're not drowning. We're and when people get all upset, and yes, there's certain guys who aren't playing well. Bryce Harper is one of them. Kyle Schwarber just started really hitting well in the last 5 to 10 days. Castellanos continues to struggle. Bone was even struggling for a while. He's just been a lot better as of lately. Stott's kind of breaking his way out of it. Marsh is just getting back into it. I mean, we'll see what Trey brings when he brings back. So, that's the thing is we haven't had our full complement of players right now. So these are all things that play factors into it. And that's, again, it's not the Big Al excuses emporium. It's the Big Al analytical factors of why a team could be struggling emporium. I'm not sitting there saying because Bryce Harper misses his wife and kids, he's struggling. I'm saying it just makes things worse. It amplifies the situation. It makes it harder for a human being to get out of a mental funk because that's what slumps are. Because they're very capable of hitting. They're very capable of doing the job, or we wouldn't be so high on this team. That's why you get on a Castellanos and a Harper and a Schwarber when he's struggling, because you know what they are capable of. It's not just their paycheck; that's part of it, but they were paid that money for a good reason 90% of the time. They're all not Tobias Harris, okay? They are good players that are playing below their normal level right now, and that's not acceptable. But it's also one of those many reasons why it's happening. The type of trips has been known to break other teams. Yeah, I mean that's the thing is this is a very odd trip. The London trip threw a really big kink into into the situation, and then you're in Boston, which is home field advantage, big time for a team with the dimensions of and the way that field's laid out and all that stuff. So and then you're in Baltimore, very close to home, but not close enough. Just they're still getting the crowd behind them. Just think about it. If it wasn't for the crowd that came down, that could have been the difference between the win and loss yesterday. That I said all I said to I messaged in yesterday. I said, I believe that rain delay helped the Phillies a little bit because it just seemed the momentum was swinging in the favor of the Orioles. The rain delay cooled things off and allowed it to kind of even back out again. I don't think that's a crazy opinion to have. I mean, is it the craziest opinion? No. So, as long as they don't embarrass themselves defensively tomorrow, I'm okay with the game tomorrow. Honestly, avoid getting swept for the rest of the year. Win series. You should and you should be okay. Absolutely, Steve. Level headed. That's what I love about you. But guys, let's take a trip around the league and let's round the bases. And Around the Bases is brought to you by Dolan's Bar, 24 East Sellers Avenue, Ridley Park. PJ is the man with the plan. He knows how to throw a good time. Go to dolansbar.com. Follow him on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Or just go there, hang out, have some great food. Their smash burgers are amazing. Their fresh cut fries are amazing. Just some of the things on their great menu at Dolan's Bar. Quizzo music, great times, memorabilia giveaways. You never know. I've been there so many times when famous athletes have come through the door. I've made friends with them just because of being friends with PJ and hanging out at Dolan's. So, guys, go to 24 East Sellers Avenue, Ridley Park. It is right north of, it's right off 95 if you're coming from south of the airport, north of Wilmington, right in Delco. If you're coming from Northeast Philly, South Philly, doesn't matter. You can get there real quickly. Go to dolansbar.com. So let's look at right now. There's a lot of games going on and some still to start, but we have a few finals to go over as well. Right now, early in the game, through the first inning, Texas and Seattle are knotted up at 0. Just starting is New York and Boston. They're both knotted up at 0 as well. Tonight, Kansas City takes on LA in LA at 9:10. Pittsburgh takes on the Rockies at 9:10 as well. And the White Sox take on the Diamondbacks at 10:10. Now, for your final scores for the day, St. Louis dropped the game 5-1 to Chicago. Toronto blanked Cleveland 5-0. Cleveland's 44-24, and they just got blanked by Toronto, who's not even above 500 right now. I'm sure Cleveland's freaking out about that. San Francisco lost to the Angels 4-3. We all know the Phillies lost 6-2 to the Orioles, and Washington beat Miami 4-0. Detroit just pummeled Houston 13-5. The Mets beat San Diego 5-1. Atlanta beat Tampa Bay 9-2, and Milwaukee beat Cincinnati 3-1. And Minnesota and Oakland were postponed today, so that game will be made up when I don't know, and I'm sure you don't care, but we'll keep you guys. If we know anything, we'll let you know. You think if they would have a day off after? You think they would have off after the London series? Well, they did. They came home on Monday. They were home on Monday, or back in Boston on Monday. But I would have thought they would have been home. To start off at home for at least a series or two, just to get their bearings back. Minnesota should be winning the division. How'd you like to be them? Yeah, no, absolutely. What's up with SD can't even beat the Mets? Yeah, I mean, San Diego's just been that team that's been meandering around 500. I mean, that's what they are right now, 37-37. That's what it is. Thank God we signed Harper and not Machado. Yeah, absolutely. There's another reason. We wanted both of them. We thought there was a chance they were going to sign both of them at one point. There was rumors flying around about that, Ross. That'd have been crazy. But yeah, I'm off on the Matty B thing. I've said my piece. I don't think anything I said is outlandish. I don't think anything I said is unreasonable, and I don't think anything I said is not is somewhat of a factor, be it small or be it large. But this team is struggling right now, and they need to get out of a funk. and maybe getting home and getting in front of the home crowd. And like I said, some home cooking, they can recalibrate. That's right, Matty B, recalibrate. I know he hates when I use certain words because I don't know if he doesn't know what they mean or whatever it is. Recalibrate. It's okay. Sometimes baseball players get in slumps. We hear about that all the time. And, it's a long season. So tell me not going home, sleeping in your own bed, kissing your kids at night, having something to eat, working out in your gym, working out in your field, being in front of your home crowd does not give you. That's why it's called a home field advantage. And when you've been away from your home field a while, yeah, it does. They should rise to the occasion. That I agree with what he said. They 100% should rise to the occasion. But this team is struggling, and hopefully it's just a little funk slump, whatever you want to call it. Preller spends time fantasizing about being the Dodgers, but he forgets about all the other teams. San Diego's forever screwed. Yeah. So that is, guys, that's about it. I want to thank everybody for joining me tonight. I want to thank everybody for being part of this beautiful Saturday, coming in on your phones or computers or your TVs or whatever, however you watch EOP. Guys, EOP is available right here every day. I'll be back tomorrow morning as well for PM and the AM for a little Father's Day edition. But happy Father's Day to those who might not hear my voice tomorrow on the show. I want to thank everybody for joining me tonight. Check out all these great shows. Our boy Sal Guido will be on the call tomorrow for Father's Day. He's a father himself, so remember, wish him a happy Father's Day. That he's taking the Father's Day shift, so that's awesome, guys. Check out Sal tomorrow, immediately following, hopefully, a series win, a win against the Orioles. But other than that, guys, thank you for joining me. Thank you for everybody for being awesome. And to all the dads out there, happy Father's Day. And we'll catch you guys next time.